All right, guys. I think we're live. I think it's working this time. Okay, so I wanted to go over kind of what occurred at the Capitol building on January 6th, 2021. It's been a couple days. Been thinking about what happened and about what I have been hearing has happened, and I just wanted to set some stuff straight. It seems like we've got a lot of people, who just trying to do maybe the right thing and are sharing information, but I'm seeing a lot of either people saying stuff who weren't there that was shared with them, um, sharing stuff that is not really true. Also, people who are sharing what seems to be obviously false information. And kind of touch on how they're calling this a riot and how they're trying to compare this to what has happened with other BLM and Antifa movements in the past. Now, I will say I do believe Antifa was present. There were, and I'm not sure if some of these were just pissed off patriots who just weren't thinking straight or thinking clearly, or if it was actual Antifa, like an organized, um, an organized plan to kind of to delegitimize what we were doing there at the Capitol building. It's my opinion that we should have been allowed into the Capitol building. So as I kind of view the majority of the incident as really a big shoving match with police. As we tried to enter the Capitol building so that we were heard. We wanted to be heard. Everybody wanted to be up front. There were honestly, like, I wasn't pushing on the police. We were literally being pushed from behind. It was nothing that could be stopped. I was in the front. I made sure I was in the front of the line to get into security at the Trump rally. I didn't plan to go in because they weren't allowing flagpoles. So I stood at the very front and at the ellipse, and I intended to stand in the very front and see what was going on at the Capitol building as well. So I have some videos here to kind of show some parts of what I experienced on the 6th. I guess the story starts at 6:30 in the morning. See here, walking down to the ellipse at 6:30 in the morning. The White House is to my right here. You can see it in the dark. We are walking to the east of the ellipse, headed towards the National Monument. I didn't record it, but when we got down to the street where the entrance to the ellipse was, where the line was, the line literally wrapped all the way around on the sidewalk, all the way along that street, up along the sidewalk, around the National Monument, and then back into the entrance of the ellipse. And the line was huge. Unbelievable support for the president. So as soon as I saw that, I knew for sure that I wasn't going to try to get in and wait in line and get stuck in the back. I just went straight to the front barrier. There's like an entrance on that street into the ellipse. The barriers were up. They had metal barriers, like a fencing barrier, to keep us all out of the line and out of the park. And I just stood there. While I was standing there, I did see one of the people that got in. So I have no idea who the guy is in horns. But this guy here, he was standing there with me. So I don't know if he left well before I did. So I don't know if he came and was sniffing me out because I looked obviously like a Trump supporter, I think, but these guys were kind of being incognito. And I saw this guy at the Trump rally, and here he is in one of these crazy photos that appears to be set up. He is walking in as this guy seems to be posing, so maybe he really is a patriot and just followed the wrong crowd in. I don't know. I don't know who he is. But he was with another guy who seemed to be talking about Star Wars a lot. He was talking about, let the Force be with you, and I'm from Northern Virginia, and this and that, and he was saying some kind of wild stuff that some of us around him were kind of like, yeah, okay. So yeah, there's the walk down to the ellipse. I didn't record much at the ellipse. I didn't have a good view at the rally. I believe I might have some extra video that I can share. But this is us leaving the rally. You see, it's really just a bunch of people. We weren't violent. We were being patriotic. You know, supporting Trump. As we passed the Department of Justice, we yelled at them to do their job. We yelled too much evidence as we passed the Department of Justice.
Where we go on, we go on. Hell yeah.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, you can see here, it's kind of just a boring video. We're just walking. And in the next video, you see it's the same thing, where just the ellipse is just there on our left. We're walking up to this first intersection as you leave, where we see a group of black Trump supporters just standing there in the center of the intersection, just apparently giving out hugs to everybody. So that's playing. I'm trying to find this video. I'm gonna play this real quick. I don't know exactly what video this is, but I'm just giving it to you guys live.
We should get the scooters back together.
I'm just leaving the ellipse.
What did she say?
And this is... Okay, I'll come back to that. Oops. Dang it, I lost my spot. Sorry, that's a picture of my old car. And let me get back to this and this. So we're on to this one. We are the Black Trump supporters.
We don't lose it.
This next video you can see here just how these streets were. Let me go back real quick. Just how you could see the people just filled the street to the north and to the south. The streets are filled just like this street that I'm walking on. Everything's completely filled up as we march toward the Capitol building. And then, you hear the audio. This is as I arrive. So there's people yelling, "Fuck Antifa." some people were getting kind of rowdy. And then someone said,
Let's not bring George Soros
"Fuck
to this
George
conversation,
Soros,"
okay, people?
and this guy from Fox News, and he said, "We don't need to bring George Soros." So it was, like, we were all obviously upset because we all believed that there was massive election fraud, and we wanted to be heard. We were here to be heard, and just unfortunately refused to take up our case and refused to even look into it. And we were basically demanding that something be done. That's why all these people are here. So here you go. Getting closer to the front of the Capitol building, and in the audio of this video, you can hear a gas grenade explosions. As I was walking up, I already heard 2 gas grenade explosions, and I wanted to see what was going on, so I pushed my way all the way to the very front and got right in the front line to kind of see what was going on. In this video, we had already gotten gas twice. And people retreated, and
This was the president's order!
just more people just broke the line. People just producing their response. So here we
Let's go, pussies! Let's go!
leaving this video first.
Let's go! We got 10,000 more
Right now, there's some guy who's like, just convince this guy to push, and he's talking to people push their way through.
Dude, it's just gonna take one to make that move. Let's go there. It's gonna take one to make that move. I think I just convinced him to make that move. He goes, man. Head momentum. Don't stop.
And you see one side of the barrier, and then all of a sudden we get pushed from behind, and our side of the barrier breaks down.
What's up, bitches? Fucking traitors! Come on!
We've broken the perimeter. The police have retreated to the next level.
People are making more gas grenades at us. Several times.
I have no mask! I have no...
We weren't going to let these politicians certify fraud. That was the big thing. At least I was, and most of the people around us, we were respectful to the police. We saw a police officer get pulled out by whoever was at the front doors, and we helped him up. We surrounded him, make sure he wasn't hurt. But there was, a consensus amongst us that we were trying to get in to be heard. That we were trying to get in the Capitol building to be heard. So they can gas us and push us and beat us with their clubs as much as they want. We were all unarmed. The idea was that this was the people, the unarmed people, coming to tell our government what was happening. This was about as peaceful as it could get, with being this angry with having this many people, with exposing fraud and having this many people realize and all being in the same place at one time with the same gripe as we hear about Pence confirming fraudulent votes and allowing the Senate to go through and confirm and certify the results. So we all had to come and do something. But like I said, overall, we weren't being violent, and we condemned those who were.
It is my fault! If we don't straighten up, we will never have another legitimate get up there, man. Before
shot.
stand inside of a gas tank.
Patriot waved the American flag.
Come on, guys!
Come
on, man! Hurry up!
Recognize
just like that.
their lives, even if it meant killing us, just normal people.
Steps.
Side of the steps, I was
Forward! Move forward! Move your ass! Let's go! Move! Keep it moving! This is not picture time! Let's go!
This is also after seeing one guy I rushed over. I asked him to pause and he's
Not your YouTube channel, buddy! This is the revolution! USA! 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 USA!
up the steps down. Here, these people are flying an upside down American flag. Now, I don't know, I can't speak for every patriot, but I'm pretty sure that patriots were not flying upside down American flags. So these people got up here pretty quick. I don't know at what point they got up there. From my other videos, weren't really sure where they're from, but and I don't know who this guy is in the military clothing who's near them. But then they had all these extravagant Trump people here on the side as well. Like, I don't know where this guy came from, but I didn't see him. So, I don't know what the deal is. And this is the final kind of piece that I saw. So there were people surrounding this door, coming out, getting maced, asking for shields, trying to I couldn't really see what they were, but overwhelmingly were in support of this topic. Quite frankly, I think it deserved to. And I don't think the video of it, but to the right of this door, there was some guy who grabbed a baton and started smashing one of the windows of the Capitol building. And he hit it once, and I started looking around, and I saw the window was smashed. And then I see the baton swinging at it because he was kind of behind a wall, reaching up, trying to smash the window. And we all started yelling at him to stop, and people yelling Antifa. And another patriot made his way over there pretty quickly, got right in his face and chewed him out. And the guy proceeded to turn around towards the crowd of all of us in the steps and flip us all off. Didn't seem like he was a patriot to me. But then again, some of these people might be patriots. There's a lot of emotions involved here, potentially some bad decisions. Of course, we condemn any real violence. Some people might say shoving match with the police is violence, but at the same time, this movement is about questioning authority, and though we trust most of our police, the police right now are protecting the corrupt authority of the government in this case. I understand that they have to have security, as some of these people may have actually been looking to hurt some of our politicians. And it's unfortunate that the voices of patriots and the voices of those who seek to destroy America somewhat converged in this moment. It seems kind of obvious that there was a destructive force that was there, and that patriots may have gotten sucked into doing stuff that they shouldn't have. But I would say the majority of them were like me. When the barrier collapsed and we saw the police retreat, we saw that as our voice being heard, that we were going to make it into the Capitol building and actually have our voice heard by those who were certifying fraud. And then at this point where I'm here at this door, I watched a police officer get pulled out. They were pushing back and forth, trying to get into the door, into the Capitol building, and the police would push all these people back out, and some would come out with mace on their face, and that was pretty bad. And then one time, a police officer, because it's really just they were falling out in waves. We're going up steps and then pushing on a door, and then once it came backwards, it was just people falling down backwards, and they would just navigate down the steps. And in one of the times, a Metropolitan Police officer came out, which I thought that was kind of extraordinary. And he passed by me at first and went down the steps, and I thought to turn around and just make sure no one hurt him, so I started yelling, "Don't hurt this cop! Don't hurt this cop!" He looked really scared, and it's kind of funny, but I kind of feel bad for him. I was like, "Don't hurt this cop! Don't hurt this cop!" And I was like, "Listen, man, they're trying to get in up there. We're getting sprayed with mace. People are falling out and getting injured. You can't go back up there. You got to go that way. The exit is that way. People are trying to get in there." Some people helped them up, and I guess they called me a piece of shit because I told the cop to get out of here. But they were going to help him up and try to get him back up the stairs. And at that point, I was like, these people aren't really trying to get into the Capitol building. So I got there. As far as I know, nobody at that door got in. So everyone else who got in, I'm assuming they got in somewhere else. I didn't see them get in that door, or maybe they got in shortly after I left. As far as I know, nobody got in. It was a heck of a sight to see. It was patriotic, and it was civil disobedience. It honestly was. We were obviously going to where the police had told us not to go, on the Capitol steps, in the Capitol building. But that Capitol building belongs to us. It really does. And they say it belongs to the government, whatever. Our government serves us. The government's purpose is to serve the people. And under normal circumstances, I agree with you. I've been to the Capitol building before. I didn't push the cops and try to force my way up the steps to get a good picture on the building that I think is ours. I respected the sanctity of it. But when you have politicians who lied to us to say that Trump was a Russian spy and investigated him and really blocked a lot of the good stuff that he's been doing over the last 4 years. And then to literally cheat in many different ways across multiple states in a fashion that affected the outcome of our election results. And then to have these same politicians not investigate this very very well-founded claim. And I'm not saying that all evidence has been brought forward, but there's definitely something sketchy about it not being heard and about not being shared the evidence that disproves this. Because they're saying that their numbers aren't what Trump and his lawyers are seeing. Now, Trump and his lawyers, they have these numbers and they have real analysis of the fraud that took place. But these, like Brad and the Secretary of State down in Georgia, he's saying that his numbers don't match up and that we're wrong. But he's not proving it to us. And the Trump lawyers have been requesting this information and they're not showing it. And they've also kept us out of Fulton County, which is where we believe a lot, or there's reasonable suspicion to believe that a lot of fraud happened at Fulton County. So the news is saying that we were rioting, that we were violent thugs, and and I even felt like kind of Trump and McEnany ripped us a new one. But I believe that, I understand if they're upset with me for climbing the Capitol building steps and for feeling like my voice should have been heard inside the Capitol building to our representatives, to our servants in government who aren't heeding our word or aren't even looking into it. They're completely disregarding it. They don't have a respect for us wanting to know what occurred on our election. So if they can condemn us for that, I understand that. But we, the people, also have a responsibility to act when our government acts outside of our best interests. And there's a lot that we can, not really justify violence for. Like nothing really justifies violence. But a lot of stuff has been happening that we don't do stuff like this. But this was, this has been building up for a long time, and there have been riots by BLM and Antifa through Washington, through Oregon, through California, through Wisconsin. I think Minnesota was even part of it. All of these cities getting burned. Missouri, burning down buildings, shooting at police officers, burning down buildings, breaking stores, looting stores. Are you really going to compare this to that? We weren't there to burn down the Capitol building. We condemned those who were breaking stuff. We didn't want our house being broken. We just wanted into our house. We wanted to be seen by our servants in our public house. This wasn't the servant's private house. This is a government building. This is public property. We were headed there to see our servants in our public building. You might want to say that's not how this government works. Well, this government looks to be in shambles right now. So now So now where do we go from here? It's my belief that I think we just have to wait now. We just have to wait and see. We've got less than 2 weeks before Inauguration Day. And at first I felt really discouraged by what Trump was saying, but I've gone back and listened to what he said, and he's not conceded to the election. The election is not conceded by Donald Trump. And as far as I can tell, Donald Trump isn't about to let Biden into the White House. What Donald Trump said is that there will be a peaceful transition to a new administration. So Trump will have a new administration in 2021. I believe the military has to get involved. I'm still worried, because things have always happened in a particular way, and for things to actually change is historical. It's so huge if they actually change. But it's kind of difficult to have faith right now, so I'm really just in a moment of waiting and praying. Our battle is not against flesh and blood, but powers and principalities. So we just got to keep praying so that God comes in and lays his hand on the situation and chooses what happens. I am a Trump supporter, but I want to just let everybody know that this is a bipartisan problem. Election fraud, they may be picking your guy now, but what happens? The guy shouldn't be being picked by anybody but the people. This is democracy, and we have our electoral college to protect us from things like this. This is the reason why we have the electoral college. The electoral college is supposed to be ensuring that our votes are valid, and they're not doing it. Why aren't they doing that? This is not a This is a Democrat and Republican issue, because both sides are corrupted. Both sides have certified the fraud. But this isn't against the people who identify as Democrats and people who identify as Republicans. The way we identify as these parties may be part of the problem, but the people who are identifying this aren't really necessarily. There'll always be bad people who want to see things destroyed. And I think there's really only a few people like that. But I think the majority of people think they're actually doing something good. And I guess the same thing can be said on both sides. That people believing they're doing something good by committing violence at the Capitol building. People who believe they're doing something good by condemning white males as privileged and racist and all that stuff. Maybe a good intention with a unexpected outcome. But we should all be together on this. We should all be asking for an investigation into fraudulent elections, no matter what side you're on. Unless all you're concerned about is winning. So that's it. I'm going to go through and I'm going to find some more stuff. I'm going to try to start going through this a little bit more often. Do some talks. I know I've done a couple things on the channel back and forth between car stuff and now just some political talking, but I think it's important that we keep sharing what we're seeing, that we stick together. There's a large portion of us that are being censored on Facebook and Twitter. Even on YouTube, we've seen it happen, but YouTube seems to be less deleting your stuff and just sending less traffic to your stuff. So if I can get the word out to a few people, that's what I'm really concerned about. I should have known better than to think that the media was going to do anything but demonize us at the Capitol. But honestly, I didn't expect what had happened to happen. Being in the front and kind of seeing the barrier collapse. I will say the cops didn't seem to hold the line very well. And that was a complaint by Rudy Giuliani too, that the police were outnumbered. But if the police were outnumbered in the front of the Capitol building steps, at least outnumbered to the point to where they were only able to hold us off at the door at a bottleneck. And then the police on the opposite side of the building were letting people in. Maybe I'll do a stream showing some of those videos. And actually, since I'm live, I'm going to go ahead and do it right now. I'm going to find that stream. Because I saw it on Donut Operators Twitch. Who was sending me that stuff? Just a second. This will take me just a little bit. I'm gonna pull up these videos if I can find it. Okay, here we go. Login, lovely. Oh, look at that. They deleted the videos of the people being led in the building and directed by the police. Okay, here's one. They opened up the barriers and let them in.
Oh my God! Oh no!
Isn't that questionable? That's kind of sketchy, huh? You see, there's a couple of them. Unless it's not a real cop. How could not real cops be at Capitol? No, that's why.
Oh my God! Oh no! Oh my God! Oh no! Oh my God!
Watch on. That was one of the most secure buildings in the world all day. Every single time everyone was convening inside, able to be breached by bearded hippies and yeah, like, how did this guy get in? He doesn't even have anything on. He doesn't look like he has any mace on him. He doesn't look like he got beat with a baton.
Oh my God!
This has got a weird tattoo on him. Like, this guy looks like a weirdo. Like, who's this guy? How's he in the Capitol?
Oh my God! Oh
Because I'm
no!
telling you, we didn't get in the Capitol like rocks. door.
Oh my God!
It's pretty strong.
Oh no! Oh my God! Oh no! Oh my God!
Okay. Well, that's all I got. I'm not going to stretch this out too long. I just wanted to share, kind of go over some of those videos with you guys and share what my experience was as opposed to what's going on. Please, guys, you can subscribe if you like. I'm trying to do this some more times. If you subscribe or you like the video, let me know that you're kind of interested in this stuff, and I'll try to do some more of it. I hope a lot of people view this, and I look forward to talking with you guys. Be sure to send me some comments, questions if you have any concerns, and I don't care if you're anti-Trump and you want to comment on this. I realize some people felt embarrassed for me for showing up to this rally, but it's okay if you don't understand this. Like I was a Democrat before. And there was a lot that I was blind to until I started paying attention and just seeing who these players are working together, and also I guess seeing the results of the work being done.